finna break a couple hearts in the process, fool. I'm on the winning streak, meaning.
During the rise of the rap group NWA in the late 80s to early 90s, they were met with a ton of criticism. If it wasn't their political and racially charged lyrics, it was the fact that they portrayed themselves as gangsters. Many people saw the gangster lifestyle as something that negatively influenced the youth, which shouldn't be promoted in mainstream media. But these individuals weren't the only ones offended by NWA's persona. It was also people in their community that had an issue with the way that they portrayed themselves. These people were actual gang members, which didn't appreciate the fact that NWA rapped about a life they presumably didn't live themselves. Members of NWA have gone on record to state that their lyrics are just a reflection of what goes on in their community, and they didn't actually partake in the lifestyle themselves. Two notable individuals that took issue with this were Jermaine Carter and Richard Johnson, better known as OYG Red Rum 781 and Tweety Bird Loc. These two were actual gang members that took it upon themselves to form a rap group that consisted of MCs that actually lived the lives of gangsters. This would be known as the Bloods and Crips, which was a major stepping stone in the hip-hop community. Not only did Red Rum 781 and Tweety Bird Loc wanted to showcase authenticity when it comes to the gang life, they also set out to squash the ever-going beef between the Bloods and Crips. Another important person that made this possible was Ronnie M. Phillips. He would go on to manage the Bloods and Crips through his label Dangerous Records. He was very vocal about the importance of the group as well, making him their main spokesperson.
But when everybody understood, hey man, we're here to make records, we're not here to fight and kill each other, we're here to make records, it was cool. I'm getting letters from teachers all across the country, they're planted in schools, I'm getting letters from kids calling me, sending me letters, they want to, I mean it's been great.
Instead of them harming each other in the streets, their mission was to harm one another through lyrics by getting paid in the process. This was also a method used to stop gang violence, as the rappers would take their frustrations out on wax. This led to the group releasing their debut album, Bangin' on Wax, which made a major impact in the gangster community. Although this group project was a fascinating concept, it didn't last long, as people who were a part of the gangs didn't appreciate their neighborhoods being dissed on songs. Many gang members that were a part of the Bloods and Crips rap group were murdered, and a handful of them are also spending time behind bars. This is actually very unfortunate, as they could have easily profited off their struggles. During the release of the album Bangin' on Wax, there were a handful of notable tracks that will go on to make a major impact on gangster rap. Probably the most popular song out of the bunch is a track called Paru Love. Paru is basically another way of saying the word blood, as it's a subset in the Blood Gang. The song's synopsis involves the rappers showing their love and devotion to the Blood Gang. The smooth, laid-back instrumental samples a classic track from Zapp and Roger called Computer Love, which is also one of the major highlights. The lyrics to Computer Love are also changed in a way for the rappers to show love to their gang. This involves a Crip member named Clip singing on the hook, which continues to add to the smooth nature of this track. Another major highlight is the opening verse from the artist Bloody Mary, as she has an extremely unique sound to her voice.
Now in the video, Mom hood is down with the mob, Hollywood and cross Atlantic.
Many people who listen to this song for the first time mistake her for a man, as her voice is very deep. Her captivating performance is probably the most notable thing about this track, as she flows effortlessly over the smooth production, and she also did a phenomenal job shouting out the various hoods of Blood territories. Bloody Mary's verse on this song would put her in the spotlight and led to people wanting to sign her to a record deal. She decided to stick with the people that discovered her, which is Tweety Bird Loc and Red Rum 781. Bloody Mary is originally from Ohio, and she moved to California. This led to her being affiliated with the Blood Gang, as she was surrounded by the lifestyle. According to a primary producer of the Blood and Crips, DJ Battlecat stated that Bloody Mary got her name because she was sexually assaulted. Bloody Mary also went under the name Nini X, which is what she would go by when she released her debut album She's Dangerous. Before Nini X dropped her notable verse on the track Paru Love, along with her album She's Dangerous, she already collabed on various tracks with Tweety Bird Loc on his 1992 album 187 Ride By. Tweety Bird Loc is definitely a name that's synonymous with this series, as he has a ton of diss tracks towards various people. He started his reign on the album 187 Ride By, with the notable track being What's Going On, which was showcased in the 4th episode of this series.
I guess the bitch had an idea to play a crew and deal with the do. 40 G's in the hands of a white man, trusted in him before you think about your own clan. So companies out to sow at a high level. Go grab a shovel cause the nigga made a deal with the devil.
Tweety Bird Loc's influence is prevalent on Nini X's album, as she disses the rapper Luke from the 2 Live Crew with the song called Luke. During the days where the rapper Tin Dog dropped a bombshell in the rap world by outright dissing the city of Compton with his song Compton, this led to countless rappers from the area responding to Tim Dog as they didn't appreciate him speaking negatively about their city. Tweety Bird Loc was one of the names that spoke outly about this, as he felt as though Compton was in the lens of many rappers who weren't from the area. He didn't like Compton being mentioned in any form of disrespect, even if it didn't involve him specifically. The track Luke that appears on Nini X's album She's Dangerous is a response to Luke's diss track towards Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg called Cowards in Compton. Luke's diss track was a response to the song with Dre Day, which consisted of Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg dissing him.
Luke's bending over, Luke's getting Buster.
The fact that Luke named his diss track Cowards in Compton was all that Tweety Bird Loc and the Blood and Crip affiliates needed to diss him. Just as I said before, I feel like Nini X was greatly influenced by Tweety Bird Loc, and I believe that it was his decision to diss Luke on her album. The reason I say this is because this diss track is very similar to countless diss tracks that appeared on Tweety Bird's albums, as it has the same formula. This formula involves a group of rappers going at their target with relentless rhymes over a sinister instrumental. Now for the diss track itself, I think it's really good, as Nini X and the members of the Blood and Crips did a great job dissing Luke. But if I'm being honest, I feel like the only rappers that went hard at Luke on this track are Nini X and Tweety Bird Loc. Their disses seem more personal, as they talk about physically harming Luke to a high degree. I believe there's a total of 7 rappers on this track, and I only know who 4 of them are. But with that being said, this song is hilarious overall, and the artists say a ton of great bars that I like. The overall concept of this track is the artist questioning Luke's manhood, as they believe he doesn't have a masculine bone in his body. This is instantly stated on the chorus as soon as the track starts. The chorus consists of a shouting performance along with Nini X. Nini X plays the role of a hype man during the chorus, as she asks the question if Luke's a real man. This then leads to a crowd of men shouting F no. This is extremely catchy, which also leads to the crowd of men shouting that Luke is a man with the vagina. After this, Nini X drops her verse, and she goes absolutely ham on Luke. She disrespects his manhood by constantly referring to him as a woman, and she also talks about multiple ways she will murder him in a physical way. One of her hardest lyrics on this track is when she says when she sees Luke, she's going to run him over in her car.
If I see you bitch, I'ma run your ass so.
She also goes completely ham on Luke's appearance by constantly calling him ugly. Nini X doesn't understand why women want him, as he seriously needs dental work.
You ugly motherfucker and your teeth need a shave.
I also must note that Nini X references the diss track Dr. Dre aimed at Eazy and Luke and the 2 Live crew called with Dre Day. She talks about how his gap is big enough for a penis to go through, which is something Dr. Dre said on his diss track towards Luke.
Gap teeth in your mouth so my dick's got to fit.
That big ass gap in your teeth is where it fits.
Another thing that's constantly referenced on this track is Luke's response to Dr. Dre, as the artists on this song state that there are no cowards in Compton. Just as I said before, Luke specifically said that the cowards in Compton are Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, but Nini X and the Blood and Crips took offense to this, as they didn't like the words cowards and Compton being infused together. Red Rum 781 is on the second verse, and he provided a great performance. Red Rum's verse is an instance where his disses towards Luke are not as harsh as Nini X's, which is a constant theme on this song. My favorite line from Red Rum's verse is when he references the video game Street Fighter. I can tell that he actually plays the game, as he talks about an instance of Luke jumping, which he's going to anti-air his jump with the Dragon Punch. This refers to the Street Fighter video game that involves someone jumping towards you and you knocking them out of the air with a special move, which in this case is Ryu's Shoryuken.
If you're feeling kinda froggy, try to jump. I'ma drag and punch your ass like Ryu.
I laughed the first time I heard this lyric, as it indicates that gangsters play video games too. After Red Rum's verse, an unknown artist takes the third verse, and his performance is good overall. There actually isn't a bad verse on this song, but like I said before, the only artist that went in on Luke was Nini X and Tweety Bird Loc. A fan favorite verse comes from the artist AWOL. The reason I say this is because the comment section on this song states that his verse was absolutely fire, and I also agree to this notion. His flow on his verse is really good, and he did a decent job dissing Luke.
Fuck that cop with the cop and Mark Trick, Miami bullshit. Slap the niggas and watch it get dealt with real quick.
It's obvious too as why most artists didn't go to the extreme when dissing Luke, as he didn't send any disses directly at them. I feel like the only reason why this song exists is because Luke dissed Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. I also feel like the Rap Collective did this as a way to gain popularity in the mainstream by going after popular artists. It's kind of a good thing and a bad thing to why this didn't work. The bad is that the artists on this song didn't get the recognition they deserved, and I agree with that 100%, as the Bloods and Crips era should have been much bigger than it actually is. The reason I say it's a good thing that they didn't blow up is because this would have definitely led to a Los Angeles versus Miami war, because not only do they diss Luke on this song, there are constant lyrics on this track where they diss the city of Miami. One of my favorite lyrics on this track is the artist that raps after AWOL. He starts off his verse by saying that he's killing dolphins, alligators, and hurricanes, which is extremely hilarious.
Killing dolphins, alligators, and hurricanes.
For those of you that don't get it, he's referencing things that occur in Miami. Dolphins refers to the football team based out of Miami, called the Miami Dolphins. Alligators and hurricanes is another thing that's associated with Miami, as there are alligator sightings and the weather is known to be atrocious. When the artist says that he's killing these things, I feel like it's complete disrespect to Miami culture. But nothing is more disrespectful on this song than Tweety Bird Loke's verse. Tweety Bird Loke goes crazy on Luke as he questions his manhood, talks about how he's going to sleep with his wife, and he ferociously disses the city of Miami. Tweety Bird Loke flat out says F Miami, and he's willing to go to war with them at any waking moment.
We handle our business and tricks, understand me? Mistake me for being small when I say fuck Miami.
This is the exact reason why I said that it's a good thing that these artists didn't blow up, as it would have probably led to a West Coast down South war. Tweety Bird Loke is known for having a ton of energy on these tracks, and you can tell that he takes it personal when an outsider says anything negative about the city of Compton. One of the most out-of-pocket lines from Tweety Bird Loke on this track is when he asks Luke, does he thinks his music's hard? Tweety Bird Loke then responds to this by saying that Luke's music isn't as hard as his d, which is most certainly a suspect rap lyric.
You think your shit is hard, it ain't hard as his dick.
But all in all, this is a pretty good diss track. I feel like everyone did a good job on their verses, and I like the somewhat smooth, laid-back G-Funk instrumental. This is one of those beefs that wasn't actually a beef, as the opposite party isn't involved. I'm pretty sure that Luke doesn't even know that this track exists, along with the countless attempts from Tweety Bird Loke and the Blood and Crips family. I do commend the Dangerous crew for going after other artists, although their diss tracks didn't see the light of day. As for Nini X, she tragically died in the year 2006 while she was riding her motorcycle. She was struck by a man driving a truck who was in the process of evading police. Her death had no ties to the man or police chase, which made it a tragic situation altogether. Definitely rest in peace to Bloody Mary, aka Nini X, as she made a great impact in the gangster rap community with her well-known performance on the song Pyru Love. Many more artists that appeared on this song are no longer with us. I know for sure that 781 Red Rum passed away from bone cancer, Tweety Bird Loke died in the year 2020, and his cause of death is unknown, and the rapper AWOL was killed by the police in the year 1997. Rest in peace to all the artists that appeared on this diss track, and may their legacy live on, as they are definitely an important part of the story of hip-hop and gangster rap.
Fuck no, he wish he could be. Fuck you, boy. Fuck you, boy.